2024 Republican presidential contenders are starting to focus on the state of Iowa. No surprise there.
Yeah, they sure are. Former Vice President Mike Pence, he's not formally announced his bid as of yet, but he visited Cedar Rapids, Iowa last Wednesday. And former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, who has announced her candidacy, that was 6 days ago. She's got rallies in Iowa today, also tomorrow. And South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, who is another possible GOP candidate, he's speaking at multiple events in Iowa on Wednesday. And the list goes on. Former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson, who has been publicly talking about the possibility of running. He has visited the state as of January and then again last week.
Wow. Meanwhile, Republican Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, himself a heavily rumored candidate to run in 2024, was not in Iowa, but in Staten Island, New York this morning. DeSantis gave a speech titled Law and Order, Florida Leading the Way. CBS News political director Finn Gomez joins us now from Washington. Finn, I think we suspect the answer here, but talk to us about the importance of, thought you were there, you're here, about the importance of the state of Iowa for this stage of the game.
Yeah, it's early. And happy President's Day, by the way. And yes, with President's Day, there's a bunch of would-be presidents going out to the Hawkeye State. Now with former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley officially launching her campaign last week and joining former President Donald Trump as they're the only two declared candidates. But activity has not just, it's picking up, not just in the Hawkeye State, but in the early states. It's really starting to ramp up, and not just with these declared candidates, but with the potential contenders also. Haley's entry has really transitioned this race into the second phase of this Republican primary race for the nomination. Especially when it comes to the Iowa caucuses, which are of course still first in the Republican presidential primary. Haley is in Iowa today, as you mentioned, and she's been in these early states. Senator Tim Scott, who is getting a lot of attention from some Republicans, started his listening tour, and as you mentioned, will be in Iowa a couple days this week. And of course, there's been a lot of activity over the last couple of days, Pence, Hutchinson, others. But again, I think many Republican strategists that I've spoken to say that Haley's entry has scrambled some plans with some potential candidates, considering how they're now considering how her entry affects them. She's generated headlines, attention by visiting these early states, and part of that increase in activity is also to generate interest by low donors, both low dollar donors and high dollar donors.
Finn, I want to transition to talking about Governor DeSantis in New York. But before I do, I will point out that according to TravelIowa.com, winter is the perfect time to visit Iowa with its exciting museums, award-winning breweries, thousands of miles of trails for cross-country skiing, and also rural cabins. So the possibility exists that these individuals are there enjoying Iowa
it's
for
the season.
Iowa
It's the high season for Iowa.
So we're pointing
Perfect
that out.
time.
Okay,
February,
to Governor DeSantis, who's in New York City on this President's Day, not Iowa. What do you make of that?
He hasn't jumped into the race yet for the White House. He's expected to. Sources closest to DeSantis say he's preparing for his campaign either right after his session in Tallahassee, which starts on March 8th, that legislative session. But along with Trump, he is this early frontrunners, if you will, these two for the Republican nomination. He is in New York today. He met with local law enforcement officials in Staten Island, of course, that swing state of Staten Island, but he was also joined by Lee Zeldin, the former New York congressman who lost that intense battle for governor against Kathy Hochul, and he's got a couple other events, Tony, which to me indicates that those are fundraising events. Typically, Republicans do go to New York City to fundraise, but also it might be a way to put his thumb in the eye, if you will, by flipping the script. He has been. I spoke to one source close to DeSantis who said, he's gotten into it with other governors before, Democratic governors. You can think of California Governor Gavin Newsom, who have criticized his policies, his state, of course, his controversial positions on critical race theory, and also just sending migrants to some of these blue states, like he's done in other other Republican governors have. So by doing that, by highlighting an issue at this event, a crime which is important to many New Yorkers, we saw that in some of the polling from the last midterm election. So I think by focusing on a crime that's an issue like crime that's important there, it's a way of almost trying to embarrass the Democrats that run New York.
Yeah, that could be it.
I've said it before. I'm thinking DeSantis and Newsom might be attacking each other. They're just standing at such opposite sides of the aisle.
Yes, they are. And Governor DeSantis knows that it's not only about who your friends are, but who your enemies are.
Absolutely.
And you come to New York and pick a fight.
Right.
Vin Gomez,
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.